Castlevania was developed and published by Konami and released for the Family Computer Disk System in Japan in September of 1986. It was released in North America for the Nintendo Entertainment System in May 1987, followed by a European release in 1988. You, the player, take control of Simon Belmont, whose main objective is defeating the vampire known as Dracula. Let's start with the box art. It's probably my all-time favorite for any video game. The different colors used and Dracula's face hovering over the castle just stands out. The gameplay is incredible, the game looks incredible, and don't even get me started on the music. I could talk about the music all day, but let's move on. The controls aren't bad, but I do have one complaint. And before I mention the complaint, let me just say this game is brutal. The difficulty, as it should, increases as you progress through the game. My complaint is, when making a jump, you don't have the freedom you would have in, say, Super Mario, where you can control your jump. Once you jump, you've just committed, and hopefully you lined it up correctly. Also, when you get hit, you get pushed back a good distance. This most likely leads to you falling through a hole in the platform you're standing on and falling to your death. Not a big deal, but it's annoying. Throughout the game you battle mummies, zombies, bats, skeletons, and more. One thing I always found weird was you collect hearts by whipping candles with the whip. You would normally think, nice, I just collected 3 hearts so that helps me with health. But it doesn't. It's actually ammunition for your sub-weapon. For health, you'll need to find a pork chop or pot roast hidden throughout the castle. Now, as I mentioned, the difficulty is brutal, and I'll list a few things that complement that statement. Enemies respawn quite often. If you kill them and walk right of the screen and go back, the whole crew is there. Also, let's just say you're in the middle of a level and you die and get game over. There are no checkpoints. You go back to the beginning of the level. Castlevania has unforgiving boss battles. Just wait till you meet death in the 5th level. And if you die on a boss battle, back to the beginning you go. Of the level, that is. The only time this doesn't happen is if you're at the final boss, they start you right before the fight. At least they threw us a bone. Just one, though. Some may say, okay, but can't you just save it? It's 1987. You don't get saves unless you're Zelda. But you don't even get a password system. So if you don't plan to beat Castlevania in one sitting, don't even begin to play, because once the NES powers off, there ain't no going back. Today you could play it with save states, and as I'm sure it would help, the game is still hard. And that's fine though, because what an accomplishment you'll feel when you finish the game. The Castlevania franchise nowadays is somewhat non-existent, unless you count the Netflix series, but I'm talking games. I think it's time we get another Castlevania game. A good one at that. I definitely recommend this classic game, but it's not for everyone. If you're easy to break controllers or harm yourself, this probably isn't the game for you. If you want a challenge though, Dracula has everything you'll need inside his castle.